All right, what we're going to go over here is just the basic four components of an air conditioning system. Every air conditioning system, no matter how complex, usually has these four main components. A compressor, which is known as the heart of the system. It's what pumps your refrigerant. An evaporator coil, a condenser coil, and a metering device. And basically the flow of refrigerant is always from the evaporator coil into the compressor. So if we were going to draw arrows with the refrigerant flow, we would be going in on the evaporator side, which is also called the low side. And we would be coming out on the condenser side, which is also known as the high side. We'll explain more of low and high side when we get into talking about the gauges that you use to test on here. But for now, you're coming from the evaporator to the compressor, out of the compressor into the condenser. You come down through the condenser and go through the metering device. And what is flowing through all of this is refrigerant. So the refrigerant, as it flows on this side of the metering device, it comes out as a liquid. Okay? When it gets about 3/4 of the way up through the evaporator coil, it becomes a gas. So it's changing state in here. And it actually becomes a superheated gas, which means we will be able to measure our superheat 3/4 of the way up through the coil. As we flow up through here, going into the compressor, we're going in as a gas. It's important to note that a gas always has to go into the compressor. You cannot put a liquid through the compressor. If you do, what's going to happen is you're going to slug it out, which means you're going to destroy this motor that's inside here. And this being the heart of your system, once this no longer works, you're not going to be pumping the refrigerant through. As it comes out as a gas. Again, we want nothing but gas, refrigerant going through there. And as it goes through the condenser, about 3/4 of the way down, what happens is it turns to a liquid. And we call that subcooling, which is also something that we can measure. And that will let us know between the superheat and the subcooling if our system's operating effectively. As it comes down, we go into our metering device as a liquid, come out as a liquid, go back up and repeat the process. What's happening here is we have the refrigerant that's very cold over in the evaporator, and this is what's inside your home. And this is collecting the heat. It's important to know that with air conditioning, it's not about cooling, it's about removing heat. You're taking heat from one place that it's not wanted and putting it somewhere else. So the condenser, the compressor, and the metering device, these three components are usually housed outside the home. They'll be in a square unit that you see that's referred to as the condenser. But it also has these two devices in there. If you ever do a major repair on a system, so if you're taking your EPA 608 exam, what they define as a major repair is replacing any one of these four components. That is considered a major repair in the system. Typically, if you have to replace a compressor, you're going to replace the whole condensing unit. If you have to replace the evaporator, you're going to replace the inside coil that is sometimes as an A-shaped coil. So, to note again, our four basic components: the compressor, the heart of the system; the condenser that gives off the heat; the metering device; and the evaporator that does the cooling inside the home.